Trump discourages DeSantis' candidacy would only hurt Republican Party. Okay, a different approach. Here's what he says. Ron DeSantis is a young man who is not doing well against me in the polls, to put it mildly. I believe that if he decides to run for president, which will only hurt and somewhat divide the Republican Party, he will lose the cherished and massive MAGA vote, he's already saying it right up front, and never be able to successfully run for office again. I don't know about that. If he remains governor, which is what Florida voters assumed, it will be a whole different story. Just saying, but again, who knows? Some people read into this and they said the fact that he's hinting at, if you don't run, I'll have you as my VP. Some are saying that'll never happen. But what do you think about what he just said here about DeSantis?
It's one of the nicer things he said in the last few months is not calling him Meatball Ron or Ron DeSanctimonious or, peddling stories about him hanging out with underage women. So that's good for him, which there's actually some truth, to use some Truth Social in it, that he might lose the massive cherished MAGA vote. One of the things that I actually wanted to bring up with DeSantis that you just brought about, and this is one of the things, because I've been an advocate of saying I would vote for DeSantis. Have you heard about the fact that, because you brought up abortions and how that's going to potentially Republicans shoot themselves in the foot, especially to suburban women or just women across the country. It's supposed to be a red wave in the midterms. It ended up being like a red drop in the bucket. Yeah. Florida, backed by DeSantis, is trying to pass a 6-week abortion bill. 6 weeks. Yeah. Have you heard about this? Pull this up. And apparently it was approved. Now, listen, you can debate the abortion all you want, but 6 weeks, some women, don't even know they're pregnant within a month, the first month. And I think the stats show 43% of pregnancies of abortions happen within 6 weeks. 36% happen between 7 and 9 weeks. 13% between 10 and 13 weeks. So I think a lot of people have sort of used the 12-week number as sort of a, comfortable number that you can wrap your head around. But 6 weeks, so back to your point about DeSantis, if that's your message, that you're going to be more of a moderate and, kind of not play to the MAGA wing, but also get some of the disaffected liberals and independents on your side, a 6-week abortion bill? You think that's going to get women to vote for you?
Yeah, no, I know.
Homie, don't play that.
Well, and this is why it's always been one of those issues, right? It's like you're talking about, reformed entitlements, right? I mean, every time the Republican Party wades into the abortion issue, I don't get how do they not look at this and go, okay, you know what, we got to sit down and come up with. Nobody lives in the fucking center anymore, so you don't have anybody in Washington saying, let's all sit down as reasonable people and come up with something, right? That makes sense, that both sides can live with.
You have one centrist. You have Joe Manchin.
Yeah. Basically that's it. Yeah. But I don't know that,
Bless you.
Look, if DeSantis was the Republican nominee, I'd vote for him, right? But I think Trump's correct in the sense that, all he's got to do is kind of, start that attack plan, and, his voting base is not going to suddenly embrace Ron DeSantis, right? So I think there's a real problem coming down the pike for the Republican Party that typically they'll just ignore for a while, and then, it'll be sort of all hands on deck and panic, leading up to the election.
But if you're DeSantis, you don't know what's going to happen 4 or 5 years from now. You can't predict, Florida might have a hurricane. It might be an absolute mess here. You never know what kind of 6-week abortion bill, all of a sudden approval ratings go down. Right now, his stock is as high as ever. You have to seize the moment. Carpe diem.
Oh, yeah, because I don't think, you just nailed it. Think about it. If Trump runs this one and Ron doesn't, he's going to be
literally could be irrelevant.
It could people just okay, just stay in Florida, whatever. But it's crazy though that's all the Democratic Party has to offer is news.
Unless if Trump does back him up 100% to run afterwards, because think about it this way: say Trump runs 4 years, okay, and DeSantis goes behind him. I want you to think about this here real quick. Say DeSantis says, all right, I'll get involved a little bit just to get a little bit of experience, and I'll run. And apparently he can't run until July because he has to get his governorship job in place before he announces that he's running. Some date like that. I think it's July or June. But I think it's July. So he goes in, and they duke it out for 5 months, whatever the time, 6 months, 5 months. And then within 2-3 months, okay, guess what? Game. It's yours.
Yeah.
Perfect. They talk to each other just like Ted Cruz lined up. And Ted Cruz like, let's go, let's roll. Trump can flip real quick. If you're going to get his back, he'll flip, right? So DeSantis comes and backs him up, and they run. Now watch. During Trump's second term, if DeSantis got his back 100%, guess what Trump's going to do for DeSantis?
Put him
Trump's going to be his number one flag carrier and help him become president. And then DeSantis can have 8 years, which means it'll be Trump, DeSantis, 12 years. Now, that doesn't mean a DeSantis' camp listening to this, they're saying, oh, you have no clue what the hell you're talking about. Maybe you're right. Maybe we don't. We're just talking, guys. We're not in your world. And, and you're right about the fact that this guy was the number one governor in what he did, above and beyond everybody else. We're in Florida because of this guy. You're from L.A. and New York. I'm from L.A., and I lived in Texas for 5 years. And I like the governor in Texas. He does a great job, Abbott.
Abbott.
Yeah.
But we moved here because it gave the balance of Florida and Texas together.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.